Hey, how's it going, guys? It's been a while, but I'm back with some more content finally. This one's going to be a bit of a different one. But anyways, going to talk about a keyboard, and that keyboard is the Keychron Q1. Oh god, this board is heavy. And the one with a knob. And so I'm not going to be doing a review overview type video for this board probably, but we're going to talk about the sound of this board because this board is known for being very pingy, a bit loud and annoying. And so yeah, let's address that here. So with the Keychron Q1 knob edition, at least, I'm not too sure if the previous version or the non-knob version would be different. I can't imagine it being too different. In terms of any kind of stock sound dampening, they include a plate foam, which is pretty dense and pretty nice. That's pretty quality, and I'm using that in this board. And also it comes with this kind of thin, very thin sheet of foam. You can see me through it. So this, I look at how thin it is. It's probably not doing a whole lot. It's probably doing something, but there's a lot better things that you can do than this. And this also, for me, was a little bit torn up in a few spots, like right here when I got the board. So yeah, just something to improve on, because even having a very thin piece of a denser foam would probably do a lot better than what they've included. So anyways, the Keychron Q1 as is in its stock form does sound pretty high pitched and a little bit pingy. It's honestly not the worst I've heard, but I really want to get that high pitch down to a bit of a lower pitch, because that's generally what most people will like, at least from what I've seen. And this board isn't even for me. So just trying to get it into a sound profile that most people will like. And there are a lot of videos of people doing modifications to this board, but some people have done modifications to the point where you don't get any kind of squish or bounce anymore on the board, as this board is gasket mounted. I do want to kind of preserve that feeling, and the Keychron Q1 does kind of squish quite a bit. It's actually quite surprising how much it'll squish compared to other gasket mounted boards I've had. But yeah. So anyways, we're looking at the overhead cam now. The board does have quite a bit of squish to it. Even the knob here will squish in, which is a really good consideration they made. Mainly speaking, the spacebar is really the most noisy key on this board. I forgot how noisy they can be, just as I've been rocking the Lily 58 still, which has been great. But yeah, apart from that, everything else sounds pretty good. All the keys are using the stock stabilizers. Honestly, very surprised at how good those were. Didn't really need any rebalancing or anything like that. And so that was great. I really considered getting some Durox tabs or whatever else I could get out there. But after some digging and just not thinking the upgrade was worth it, because it would have been pretty minor, to be honest, I decided to stick with the stock ones here. And in terms of the options I was looking at, I was really looking at the stabilizers that I'd have available to me quickly in Canada here. So not too many stores are carrying a lot of the fancier stabilizers. I was really looking for Durox stabilizers to buy with these switches that I've got in here. These switches are the KTT Mallows, which are really nice. But yeah, anyways, let's crack this open and see what we can do. So now that the bottom half of the board is disassembled, I've already taken out this thin foam sheet, which honestly I'm not going to use. It also does come with this kind of plastic sheet here, which I'm guessing is to prevent any kind of shorting. It also does have these little adhesive bits here, which are kind of gross. Don't really like that, but that's probably just to keep this in place. Honestly, I think they didn't really need the adhesive to begin with. But yeah, gonna keep this in because it's super thin, not gonna eat up too much space. That said, in the bottom of the case, there's not a whole lot of space. There's a space enough for like maybe a little bit of foam, or maybe even something like, dang, I just completely forgot. But yeah, there is a tiny bit of space in here, like shelf liner, the thing that keeps things from kind of moving around on a shelf, that kind of stuff. maybe you could fit that in here. I'm not too sure how much that would help. I've never actually used that before. But yeah, not a whole lot of space here. So we can see what we can do about this. I've done some testing already, but we're really going to focus on this side of the board. This is where we're going to do a lot of the modding. And so over here, we do have this daughter board that is screwed in. That really just allows you to put in your USB port as well as the Windows Mac switch. And because of that, I'm not going to disassemble this. I don't really want to put that work in. And yeah, just going to leave it as is. Just going to prop the board here. Honestly, not too much weight being placed in different areas because I have all the keycaps on. And so yeah, the first main mod that I'm gonna do is the tape mod, and that's really just using tape and covering the back of the PCB. And technically you could use any type of tape. The most common type of tape though is masking tape or like a painter's tape, because that's not gonna really damage the board. If you use something that is really strong and adhesive, if you decide to peel off the tape later on, you might end up pulling off some of this material and exposing the what would usually be copper underneath. So that can be a little bit problematic and not the prettiest thing to look at. So yeah, masking tape is usually the way to go, and I'm not going to be using like big brand name stuff for this because honestly the brand name stuff tends to stick better, and I've had problems with the SK Ergo actually, where some of this material here actually ripped off when I got rid of some masking tape. So yeah, gonna keep it as is here. I've also taken the liberty of also putting in some KBD stab foams. Okay, not gonna lie, not the prettiest application of the tape mod. You can honestly put as many layers as you want. Obviously, at some point it's probably not going to help that much. So I have kind of doubled up over here because, well, there is a bit of a gap up here. Also, the tape that I'm using isn't very high quality. It kind of tears while I'm trying to unroll it. And so I ended up putting an extra strip here that kind of teared off quite early. That said though, I'm probably going to put some extra tape around the bottom half of the board or from the middle down. The top half does tend to sound pretty good, but this bottom half tends to kind of sound a little bit more iffy, especially again around the space bar. So yeah, gonna put some more tape on this. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with where the tape mod is at now. Oh my god, you cannot see it, it just looks white. But anyways, I'm pretty happy with where the tape mod is at now. Another mod that a lot of people tend to do is polyfill. And polyfill might sound fancy, but it's really just stuffing that you would put in like a pillow, which is a plastic. It's not actual cotton. And so that said, polyfill can be kind of messy. It does leave strings everywhere, and this is a board for someone else, and I don't expect them to be taking this board apart super often, but if they ever do, I want it to be kind of clean and simple. So rather than plopping a bunch of polyfill down here and kind of letting the strings fly off and stuff, I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I don't know how effective it'll be, but I might as well try it. It's not gonna change the feel too much, so I'm gonna give it a shot, especially for this kind of lower spacebar area. I really want some extra padding here. I could use neoprene, which I still have a bunch of, but that's a little too thick for this board and would get rid of a lot of the bounce. I know that's not the point of gasket mounted boards, but it's nice to have kind of consistency across the entire board. So let me try something. Okay, so the pocket is finished up. This is all filled with some polyfill, and there is a small gap somewhere. I do feel some air being pushed out. But yeah, this is a little cushion for the lower half of the board, primarily because of the spacebar. And so I used electrical tape for this because electrical tape will flex, and I didn't have loose polyfill, which I think would do a much better job of sound dampening, because this is clean, right? If you do want to remove the kind of PCB plate assembly from the case, you can, and it'll all be one piece. Where if you have polyfill, it can leave a bunch of fibers everywhere. It can be a bit messy and a bit of pain to put back together. So this way it's all contained, and if someone does want to kind of pull stuff out of the board, they can. So a bit of a convenient solution there, but I don't think this will be as good as just plain polyfill in terms of sound. So let's put this board back together and see how this sounds. So anyways, that's some sound mods for the Keychron Q1. I think it sounds a lot better, and with kind of how limited the space is in this board, there isn't a whole lot more I feel that you could do. I did try previously putting a sheet of neoprene underneath. The neoprene that I do have is quite thick, so it ended up kind of restricting the movement of the assembly inside. So didn't really want to go that route. Apart from that though, tape mod is going to be a big one, and polyfill. In this case, I didn't use loose polyfill because again, this is a board for someone else, and if they ever want to crack it open, I want to make sure things are kind of neat and clean and simple in there. So I created a pocket using electrical tape for that, and I honestly think it's surprisingly paid off. I think it sounds really nice on the middle row and the bottom row. So yeah, anyways, if you do have any questions about this or whatever I did in this video, just let me know in a comment below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.